We have $50 from Anonymous, who says, first time watching live, first time donating. Great event, great cause, etc. Shout out to Mage and Phil. Can't wait for Majora's Mask co-op. Good luck. To Raven gave $100 and said, Brosentia, when will you be running the town with no name again? Shout outs to the Super Mario World crew. The Mario block last night was awesome. Frankly, I don't know if I'm running it again. It's a good game. But man, that Abraham Lincoln guy. All right, we will be having some interviews in just a second, and we'll go over to there.
Hey everybody, I'm Fiesel, and I'm here with sinister1 and Zallard, and they're going to be doing the punch-out block for us. So, first of all, how did the idea of blind punch-out get started? Where did that idea come from?
Well, it actually started back in the early days of GDQ. Somebody had donated to see Andrew G do Super Mario Brothers blindfolded, just kind of as something fun, and he did it. And I thought, hey, that's pretty cool. I wonder if that would work with punch-out. And that's where it came from.
And I guess punch-out is unique in that you do have audio cues and you have very patterned bosses and you're always standing in the same place. So, you know, maybe it doesn't have some of the same challenges as Super Mario Brothers does, but I think it has its own set of challenges to it, really.
Absolutely. I think it does make it easier that you have very controlled movement. It's not a platformer. Platformers are probably very, very difficult blindfolded, unless you have specific audio cues that you can use to deal with. But as you mentioned, a lot of the punches have audio cues, but not all of them. So, you know, not everything is going to be easy in this run. But it's definitely a good game for blindfolded. And it's easy to learn, too. It looks tougher than it might actually be in some circumstances.
It looks impressive, for sure. So Zellard, how did you get involved in doing blindfolded punch-out or super punch-out runs?
So I started running Super Punch-Out, and I considered pitching it to AGDQ 2014. Yeah. So, you know, I figured, like, I might as well attempt blindfolded since, you know, Sinister was doing blindfolded Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. It seems like a good, you know, follow-up. And, yeah, so I ended up beating the game, which I kind of didn't expect, but it was pretty interesting. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad it. A lot of people seem to like it a lot.
And you seem to pick up blindfolded original Punch-Out pretty quickly after you know, were doing Super Punch-Out.
I mean, I had been running Mike Tyson's Punch-Out for a while. I was running it even when I pitched Super Punch-Out for 2014, but. You know, at the time you had the record, so it was just kind of like, you know, I did find a few strategies, like Don Flamenco won with the frame perfect star, but it eventually became like, okay, I could maybe try it out, and you know, I tried it on stream once without like knowing any strategies, and I got to Tyson, which was a bit surprising.
That's impressive.
So I considered like refining it a little bit and pitched it. And we're doing a race, it seems.
Yeah, wow, it's come a long way.
Yeah, definitely.
When I first saw this done, it was, I believe, 2 years ago at AGDQ. I saw you, Sinister, doing blindfolded Punch-Out, is that right?
I first did it actually at AGDQ 2012.
2012,
that was the very first time we tried it. I had actually never even done it before that very run, so I don't think I got too far. And then 2013, we did it again. 2014 is the first time that I actually,
when you got to Tyson.
That's when I got to Tyson. Right. That's when I had actually like tried to practice and be more serious about it instead of just doing it as like, oh, this is a fun donation incentive kind of thing. So, but Zallard's picked it up really well. Like you said, he's a natural. He's obviously a beast in all the Punch-Out games: Punch-Out, Super Punch-Out, Punch-Out Wii. Right. He's got the single segment speedrun record in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out right now, and most of the individual level fights as well. So he's definitely a monster in this game.
Back then, in these early days, or at least 2 years ago, even just landing a hit on Tyson was a real achievement, right? But now you guys are actually thinking you're going to beat Tyson. So what's changed since then?
Well, okay, let me clear a few things up. So in 2014, I had made this speech about kind of how it was impossible to beat Tyson and things like that. Yeah. And I didn't specify this, but what I was meaning to say was that me personally in that very moment, it was impossible for me to beat Tyson because I hadn't practiced him. I had only practiced not getting hit by the first punch of the fight. That was literally the extent of my practice against Tyson, because on the off chance that I got to him, I didn't want to be embarrassed and just get hit 3 times in a row and be done. I was like, I want to hit him at least 1 time. So by those standards, yes, it would not have been possible for me to win. However, obviously things have come a long way since then. A lot of other people have gotten involved, notably Jack Wedge, who came up with a lot of the buffer strats that you guys are going to see in the run. And he made it possible to get past the first minute and 30 of Mike Tyson, which is the part where he does the one-hit knockdown uppercuts. Once you get past that part, then things become a little more realistic to beat him. And we're going to try, but I do want to make it clear to everybody as well that it is still Mike Tyson blindfolded. There's no guarantee of beating him. He is vicious.
Yeah, like both of us did practice runs this morning, and both of us lost a good number of times to Tyson. Like, he's still very difficult, even when you get past the 130 uppercuts.
He's still Mike Tyson.
Okay. So how is blindfolded punch-out even possible? I mean, what are you doing to be able to set all these strats up that you're using? Like, how would somebody even do this?
Well, I think the main thing now is the development of a lot of buffer strats, which, again, Jack Wedge and then Zallard had come up with some buffer strats as well, and another guy named Summoning Salt. The buffer
That was great. When PJ was here, we had a shot all for. Oh, here we go. Hello.
I think we're back.
We're back. Hey, everybody.
Hey.
All right, I guess we'll wait till we get video up too.
Yeah. Hey.
Okay, welcome back.
There we are.
Sorry for the interruption. So you were talking about buffer strats.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think I'm going to go ahead and let Zallard answer that question because he came up with a lot of buffer strats early on when that was first starting.
So it was interesting because I ran Super Punch Out first, and with Super Punch Out, there's a lot of situations where boxers will be kind of far away from you. You basically punch them until they get dizzy, they kind of float away, and then they come back and you punch them. So it lets you do a lot of things. Like, you can punch while they're kind of, off, doing whatever. But with Mike Tyson's Punch Out, it's not the same because most of the fights, you're right in front of each other for most of the time. So, buffering movements just didn't seem as intuitive. But, since I started running it, I started finding, hey, it does sort of work. I found one for Glass Joe, and then, there was this one fight, Don Flamenco won, where you would get a frame-perfect star. It would be pretty difficult. You'd reset on him a lot. So I tried finding one for him, eventually found one, so now that's 100% consistent. So it kind of just spiraled out of control from there. We're just okay, let's just apply it to everything.
Right. And just to be clear also, not every single buffer that we're going to be using in the run is perfect. Some of them are imperfect, but they give us kind of a good range of frames to be able to do whatever we're trying to do and, not get hit, but sometimes you may get hit anyway.
Right. So do you have to do a lot of compensating? Because, I mean, you plan for what you want to happen, but when that doesn't work and you can't even see what's going on, how do you make up for it, How do you make up for your mistakes?
Well, it really depends on the boxer, the situation. Sometimes if you get knocked down, then it will reset their pattern, and you'll be like, okay, so I'm not lost anymore. I know what he's going to do, at least somewhat.
Sure.
So.
And the round ending, I guess, can also get you back to a known place.
Yeah, each round is just a separate entity in how each boxer behaves.
And a lot of the boxers, once you run out of stamina, they will go into a different pattern, which is usually fairly specific. But yeah, I mean, the answer to when things go wrong is you kind of just got to improvise a lot of times.
And who has worked on developing these strats? Because it's not just you guys, right? Other people have gotten involved in this?
Absolutely. Jack Wedge has been the person that's probably come up with the most strats that you're going to see today as far as buffer strats go. And Summoning Salt is someone else that's worked on them. Of course, Zallard came up with a lot of them. And then there's other people involved in the community, like D. Tysonator is the first person that beat Tyson blindfolded, and he came up with some stuff as well. So it's really been a community effort. Yeah,
the community has grown quite a bit, especially even just since the last run, at AGDQ. So, with the community effort, we're finding more and more things, and it makes, more of this run just a little bit more consistent, if anything.
Okay. So other than Tyson, what are the fights to really look out for? Which ones should we be most worried about for you guys?
All of them.
All of them. Like, anything can go wrong anywhere.
Really? Okay.
I would say, to be serious, though, the first 8 fights are fairly reasonable. You should generally do okay in the first 8 fights, but every fight after that, Soda Popinski on, things can go really badly at any time. So.
Yep.
Okay. And the first run, the blindfolded punch-out is going to be the second run. The first run is going to be a super punch-out with sight, a normal super punch-out run. And Zallard, you'll be doing that one. How does super punch-out compare to original punch-out, you being a runner of both games?
So super punch-out is, a lot of the fights are fast if everything goes right, but that game is pretty random too. I would say the randomness in that game is a bit more damaging to run attempts, because the way the game works is you have, you punch the opponent multiple times very fast, and depending on how fast they were, what types of punches you throw, they'll go into a dizzy state, and you have just a couple of frames to get an instant knockdown on them, and that can happen on every fight. But if, let's say, someone decides to randomly dodge one of the punches, then that throws the dizzy off, and the fight can be extended from say an 8-second time to 30 seconds to a minute. It can spiral out of control pretty fast. But I mean, I'll do what I can under the circumstances.
Right, but you're probably more concerned about the blindfolded punch out than super punch out at this point, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for talking with us. Good luck with your run and both of your runs after that. So coming up next, we're going to have a super punch-out run from Zallard, followed by the blindfolded punch-out race between these two, sinister1 and Zallard. So don't miss that. Stick around, guys.
Thank you very much, Sinister, Zallard, and Fiesel for that interview. Nice information over there. These runs are extremely exciting and very action-packed. I won't have much time to read donations, so I'm going to read as many donations as we can until we get running. So here are $50 from Chitcherbud, who says, I've been watching AGDQ events for years, but only now can afford to donate. These events mean a lot to me because I love old video games and because my dad is a lung cancer survivor. I've had other friends and family who haven't been so fortunate, though, so preventative research and care is very important to me. I'm loving seeing the Castlevania runs. I could never beat them as a kid, so this is the next best thing. Cheers. Fantastic day of speedrunning. The Alpha Games Done Quick block, the Castlevania block, and now the ever-entertaining Punch-Out block. Here's $50 towards the FF4 Excalibur route. Thanks once again for another amazing marathon. Big love for the awesome work you're all doing. Zombie Larkin gave $30 and said, loving the event so far. Can't wait for the Bloodborne and Diablo runs. Thanks to everyone who contributed their time and effort this week. Donating $15 to the Cal level for Diablo 2 to give Brosentia his much needed fix of bovine battery. And $15 for the Final Fantasy Run 1 so we can see how gloriously broken the Famicom FF games truly were. $50 from Loger. They said, good luck, Sinister1. Oh boy, a little one-sided in this comment here. I loved watching your chill blindfolded punch-out streams during Monday Night Football. Get around to KO. Joestar Jojo gave $10 and said, I lost my grandfather to eye cancer, but I want this next speedrun to go out to him and everyone else who has had to battle this disease. I love what you guys are doing. Keep up the great work. Anonymous gave $20 and said, finally I catch a GDQ live. As someone who's lost several family members to cancer, here's $20. Also, this is speedrunning. Kill the animals. Kevin T gave $10 and said, hey guys, Punch-Out is one of my favorite video game series ever, so definitely had to donate during the runs. AGDQ has been a blast to watch thus far. Keep up the great work. $20 from Endy92. He said, no one got Joker Glitch in Batman, but I'll donate the $20 extra now instead. Good luck, Sinister and Zallard, on the crazy blindfolded race. Put the gloves up. Money goes towards winner's choice. $25 from Rex Salsi. He says, love Super Punch-Out. Compassion is the most human trait, and everyone playing and donating is a hero for demonstrating true compassion. For that reason, we must save the animals. Jelly for Sale gave $20 and said first donation. Happy to see the event getting better and better every time. Sebastian216 gave $10 and said playing games for the greater good. What's not to like? Keep up the great work, everyone. Greetings from Germany. Drummer Saurus gave $10 and said, had to donate a little for my favorite part of the AGDQ event. Blindfolded Punch-Out is always super fun, and I can't wait for the race. Good luck to all the runners this year, and may RNGesus be kind to y'all. Now, remember, we have several donation incentives coming up, several for Diablo, as well as name choices. You're seeing those scroll by at the bottom for Secret of Mana. We see the blindfolds being brought out on the couch. Sinister1 and zallard1. There are a lot of ones here. But who will be one here tonight or today? Time will tell. Time will tell. Right, Ryujin gave $100 and said, great work destroying Super Punch-Out. Good. Looking forward to your great blindfolded race on Punch-Out from Sinister and Zallard. Knockout Super Macho Man and Knockout Cancer. Red Shadow 88 gave $20 and said, hey there from Germany to all the runners and people making the AGDQ possible. Second time I'm watching this event, and again, it's a pleasure to watch. Totally pumped for the Mirror's Edge run and also for the N64 Zelda runs. Gonna be a blast. Hype! And Andreas215 gave $10 and said, greetings from Sweden. Awesome to see my favorite games from my childhood being beaten for a good cause. Looking forward to Punch-Out blindfolded. Now remember, this marathon is to benefit the Prevent Cancer Foundation. They perform work both in preventative measures as well as research to find ways to prevent cancer before it even starts. It's our charity this year. We've worked with them for many years, and they've been absolutely fantastic. And honestly, it's one of the best causes that we can think of here. So please keep these donations in so that we can keep helping this effort to prevent cancer. $100 from Anonymous. They say, loving this year's GDQ. Ended my year watching Zeldathon, and glad I started up here. Keep it up, guys. We have $50 from Eepwood. They said, thank you for putting on such an awesome event for such a good cause. Thank you to the runners. Also, please save those poor, innocent, cute, cuddly, doe-eyed animals. Well, you know those doe-eyed animals are also killing frames. So, you know, give and take here, give and take. Marco J, 1990, gave $10 and said, same procedure as every year. Here's my $10 donation, and greetings to Sinister1, which is constantly the run I am looking most forward to at AGDQ. May Tyson go down this time. Keep on running, guys. $25 from Leon Getting Larger. He says, good luck, Sin and Zallard. Thanks for showing an old guy like me how Mike Tyson Punch-Out should be done. Bop those fools and let's bop cancer. Hi, stars. We have $50 from Anonymous. They say, video games have always been a part of my life, and I've met my best friends because of them, but sadly a few years ago I lost my good friend, my grandmother, to pancreatic cancer. I'm so glad there's GDQ to help with the fight. Thanks to all the speedrunners for making this possible. I think my grandmother would vote to save the animals, so I will too. Hail the power of the Nerd Kingdom. just so you know, in the near future, in Paper Mario All-Stars, there's a chance to bring Luigi or leave Luigi. Bring Luigi is at $1,430. Leave Luigi is at $376. So if you really want to bring Luigi, drop like $1,000 right now. Also, save block storage glitch for Paper Mario All Cards has not been met quite yet. That is about $330 away. So be sure to get that in. I'm not sure what this save block storage glitch is either. Apparently weird things happen, and the game gets distorted, and it can be canceled later on. I'm not completely sure. So donate for whatever's going to happen during that. Now remember, there are several prizes that you can win if you would like to donate during this section, during this game, during this whole marathon, as a matter of fact. So please keep those donations coming in. Remember, we have some pretty big grand prizes as well. There are several banners for AGDQ that will be here. We also have the Mad Catz Street Fighter V Chun-Li arcade fight stick, which their arcade sticks are absolutely amazing. That one, donate at least $50 at any point during the marathon. You're eligible for that. Majora's Mask new 3DS, again, $50 entry, one of our grand prizes there. We also have the No Fear pinball machine. You have to donate at least $75 during the marathon to get a chance to win that. But holy cow, who doesn't want a pinball machine, right? I want one. I want 5. Unfortunately, they're only giving 1 away, so we can't get 5. Dizzy1 gave $30 and said, donating every year when I heard there's a blindfolded race. I couldn't think of a better time. Good luck, sinister1. Money goes to performing animality. Kill those animals.
What we want to do.
Everybody in the audience, I need your participation because we need to do a very special sound test. Mike Tyson has just gone down. Come on, everybody, cheer. Okay, no. Okay, let's try this once again. I want you to jump out of your seats, shouting, clapping, like Mike Tyson just got down. 1, 2, 3, go! Mike Tyson down! All right. There we go. That's what I like. The pink-haired guys were really into that. I saw that. That was very nice. Everybody else, fantastic. So here we are, one of the biggest events of the marathon, the blindfolded punch-out race between Sinister and Zallard. Very, very exciting. As you can see, they're sitting there. They're sweating. I can see that. I can see it on their faces. Sinister is asking Zallard if he'll forfeit. Zallard is saying yes. Whoa. No. But honestly, both of these are amazing performers. I know that we've been getting some love for Sinister in donations, but remember, Zallard has been an amazing player with Super Punch-Out. He's got some of the best times with many of the levels here. We're very excited. All right, audience, I'm going to ask you during both of the runs, please be quiet. Remember, these players are blindfolded through the entire thing. And if you are shouting, they cannot hear the runs. So that's why we had you yell a bunch. So what I'm going to say is until the second person knocks out Mike Tyson or for some reason completely loses, which I don't think that's going to happen tonight, just stay quiet, be reserved until the second one knocks out Mike Tyson. This is the plan, okay? So keep the energy in you, and then as soon as that's done, go bananas, okay?
Okay.
And the blindfolds go on.
Yep.
Getting this underway.
Good luck, gentlemen.
All right, I will give you the countdown. We're going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right.
So here we are, starting things off with Glass Joe. Glass Joe, even if you can't see him, is pretty simple. The strat is nigh on identical to the Vision strat. We're going to be using a buffer strat here. If you missed the description during Super Punch-Out, basically a buffer is a string of actions that you can string together frame perfectly in Punch-Out. You press a button, release, repress a button, and input comes out on the first frame.
Yep.
So with this string of inputs they're doing right here, it guarantees the knockdown when he comes back from that at 40 seconds.
Yep.
Sinister off to a slight early lead. He's actually using a slightly newer strat that guarantees the 42 flat. It's very recently developed. Zallard went with what he knew there for... Looks like he's getting the 42.25.
Yep.
So,
And it should be noted, what's going to be slightly different since this is a race being done in real time is that usually in Punch-Out you only care about the timer. So there's going to be some randomness with the countdown from Mario and the RNG with the fake get-ups. So that does play a bit of a role in this race.
That 42 flat tide world record, by the way.
Yep. So the order of the day, is, as Chip just talked about, is buffer strats, and then the other one obviously is audio cues, and that's why we're going to keep the sound pretty low so these guys can focus on what they're trying to accomplish, which is play a game blindfolded. I don't know about you, but I couldn't tie my shoes blindfolded, let alone fight Mike Tyson.
I don't have a buffer for tying my shoes now.
Should work on that.
Okay, Von Kaiser's another relatively simple fight even without vision. The only real X factor is in phase 2, you can get a lucky random star. Neither of them got it, so they're both on pretty level footing here.
Yep.
Oh,
Sinister did take one uppercut, so we had to wait a little bit longer there.
the refill he gets on the third get up is very small though,
Yep.
so fairly small time loss.
Yep.
It's still a race, people.
Yep. Refills are actually a big deal because part of how you adjust your strategies in Punch-Out are you look at the refill they got, which many of them are random, and that's yet another luxury neither runner has in this, so they have to be ready to adapt if they think someone's about to go down and they don't hear the knockdown sound.
Has to be ready for every eventuality.
Yep. So right now Zeller with a slight lead, but there's a long ways to go and multiple pitfalls throughout this and run. Pretty much every fight from here on out is going to have ways for time losses to happen.
Here you're seeing a slight difference in strats. Zallard going with a buffer strat to get to the bonsai punches.
Yep.
Sinister's got his own little thing he's developed here.
Yep, so Piston Honda will always do his bonsai punch at 1 minute into the fight, so that's a way to get an easy knockdown.
And then they get
uppercuts.
up on his 1 count. Any fighter that gets up on a 1 count is immediately put back down by an uppercut.
Yep.
You see Sinister there getting up to 3 stars because he will dodge star punches until you get to the 3 stars. Almost got him before the bonsai
Yeah, that was
punches.
really close. So Sinister's going to take a slight lead here after the slightly more risky strat, but it pays off.
All right.
All right.
And now while we take a bike ride, the thing to talk about here is random factors in this game. There's a lot of random factors in this game, so there's not, you can't buffer strat for every eventuality. Most of the buffer strats are based around the most common pattern. Like there's a lot of instances where it's like 75% of the time this fighter's going to do this, but the other 25% of the time they'll do something else.
Yep.
And it's a case of they have to be very on point with their audio cues and just their overall knowledge of the game. And these are two of the best in the business. They really know what's going on with every aspect of every fight.
Yep.
But there's a lot of rolling with the punches when you can't see what's going on. No pun intended there. For Essentia would be proud.
So one of the most infamous buffer strats is about to be shown here in the Don Flamenco fight.
And developed by our very own zallard1.
Yep. So this star
Quick
that
dodge.
Sinister gets is frame perfect. There's
Yep.
only one frame you can throw the punch and hit that, but Zallard discovered that if you do a dodge into a quick dodge and then just hold jab, you get yourself your free star. Both of them get it, which is
Yep.
good.
And if you knock down Don1 twice before the 1 minute mark,
He stays down.
he stays down. I made it with a little room to spare there, Sinister
Yeah,
did.
a
So
little bit.
cutting it a little fine, just a little fine.
So 18 for both of them. Really good fights. And up next, if we were doing a non-blindfolded run, would be where Punch-Out begins.
Yeah, this is
And that
Gatekeeper number 1 in the Vision runs is King Hippo coming up here. Actually, blindfolded, one of the easier fights in the game.
Yep.
Now, both of them are going to be starting out with a buffer strat here to, in the event he opens his mouth at the first opportunity to score that hit.
Yep.
It's a case of they save about 10 seconds if they get it, but they lose about a little bit
Yeah.
versus...
So Sinister actually did get he was going to open, but unfortunately just didn't quite time it right.
Another thing to note about Hippo is ideally you're looking for the 3 cycle on him.
Yep.
Typically you can only get 8 punches in on his belly when you get the mouth punch. But you time it just right, you can get the 9th, and it takes 27 hits to put him down.
Yep. And Hippo notoriously stays down on the first knockdown no matter what.
Yep. Only character in the game without a get-up animation.
So right now, Sinister's going to take a decent-sized lead here. Zallard missed his first opportunity to hit the mouth punch, and going to cost a lot of time. Losing a cycle on Hippo takes a long time with blindfolded strats because you
Yeah,
have to use the buffer to
Yep.
get anywhere.
Have
Should
to.
get the knockdown here. Yes. Okay.
There it is.
So Great Tiger in Vision percent is one of the easiest fights in the whole game.
Even blindfolded, he's still one of the more simpler fights. He's
Yep.
100% scripted. If you get off script with him, though, problems can arise.
Yep.
So hopefully Sinister keeps it together here.
Yep, this is a very snowbally fight.
But the basic idea here is just to get the one knockdown without getting hit. Get as many stars off the flashing turban opportunities as you can. And
Yep,
put him
very nice.
down. Yep, he's got 2 stars. He's going to get up on a 1 count 2 times. Sinister's just holding start right now.
Yep.
And waiting for the fight to end.
Yep, that's those are the buffer strats we talked about. So once Great Tiger was knocked down, Sinister could literally just hold the start button, and the star punch is going to come out on the first frame every time, no matter what.
Looks like Zallard is similarly in good position here.
Yep.
So, all intents and purposes here, on to bowl 1 for both of them.
Yep. Bowl 1 is where things start to get a little more dicey in the blindfolded.
Yep, this is where the variance in buffer strats, it's really the 75-25 I mentioned earlier is very accurate for Bull. He has a 75% chance to throw hooks, but he has a 25% to throw rolling jabs once we get into phase 2.
Yep.
Phase 1 is not a true buffer strat because there's one very slight pause on the last punch, but everything up to that last punch is 100% scripted and will work every time.
Yep.
Slight pause, boom, he's
Yep.
down.
Great phase 1 for Sinister. There's a lot of trust being put into these players' muscle memory for a lot of these fights because that's all they literally have to go on besides the audio and the buffer strats.
Well, you got 2 of the best in the business. These guys know this game just a little bit.
Yeah, there's maybe been a few hours put in by these guys
Yeah,
when
just
it
a
comes to
couple.
Punch Out.
I'm sure they were cramming a little bit before here.
Very nice second phase from Sinister.
Now, the primary goal during here is to get him down before the bull charge.
Yes. Because as you can imagine, stopping bull charge blindfolded, there's no buffer for that because the amount of time he waits and delays is completely random. And they also have to listen closely to figure out whether or not he did 3 or 2 hops back.
A little off script here, but close enough to the end it shouldn't matter. There we go.
Good recovery from Sinister there. Zallard has a chance to make up a little bit of time here if he can stay on script and doesn't get too overwhelmed by the RNG. Very nice. So
Very
Zallard's going to
nice.
pick up a little bit of time there.
All right. Both coming into bike riding part 2, significantly harder than bike riding part 1.
Yeah. It's nighttime, man. You can't see as well.
I know.
Wait a minute.
Hard.
Never mind.
It's hard mode, so. I guess while we're in this little interlude here, a lot of the reason that this has become a much more popular and focused con kind of thing would be the efforts of one Jack Wedge.
Yes.
If you're familiar with the Mike Tyson's Punch Out Blindfolded video that came out, if you heard about that a couple months back, he was the guy who did it, and he developed a lot of the buffer strats that are being used for the purposes of blindfold. Because for vision, they're inferior to what you can do when you can
Right.
see, but they're very, very reliable.
Yeah. And it's kind of stating the obvious, but what makes these runs possible is that these guys have such immense game knowledge, and it's not like a run where you kind of learn a robotic pattern and go in and trust your muscles. Like, you have to know everything about every fight for what can possibly come up. So again, seeing similar buffer strats out of both players to start off Piston here.
Using the bonsai charge for the knockdown.
Yep. Pretty much a must-do for Piston 2 and blindfolded. So this is a guaranteed knockdown on Piston 2. He will not get back up from this.
Easy peasy.
Yep.
All right, now we come up to gate part 2 for the vision runs, and definitely a problem point for the blindfolded runs. Soda is very, very, very random. You're pretty much hoping he goes into uppercuts. The same basic strategy applies. There's a glitch with Soda where you can kind of lock him in place when he goes into uppercuts, but seen right there on Sinister's side, and after that one uppercut puts him down every time.
It's a good start for Sinister. We'll see if Zallard can follow suit here.
Oh, that's where the problems with Soda arises once you take a hit.
So you notice basically what they're doing there is an option select. Once they get to that point in the fight, they're holding their up block so that if Zallard, or if Soda does his jab, they'll block it. But if they don't hear the immediate block animation, they know it's safe to counter the uppercut and then get the star. Lots of hooks being thrown right now, which isn't what neither person wants to deal with. So
All
there's
right.
Zallard's second knockdown.
And Sinister just got his third, I believe.
Yep. So Zallard's got a little bit of time to make up. A 117 Soda blindfolded is incredibly strong, so
Yes.
Sinister playing very well there. So now that's really bad luck for Zallard. He's got to get back on script or he's going to be in real trouble here. He's just going to take the knockdown to reset everything at this point.
All right. Now, while a lot of the buffers in the game are attributable to Jack Wedge or Zallard on the couch there, the one they're using for this fight comes from a Tyson runner named Summoning Salt. And basically, Ball 2 is kind of similar to Bald 1 in that there's some random elements. Instead of hooks and rolling jabs, you're looking at hooks and ear rubs. And they're really, really hoping not to get the ear rub pattern.
Yep. Ugh.
He's going to take a knockdown here, is the plan.
Yep. There's really not a lot Sinister could have done about that.
Sometimes getting knocked down is intentional, not necessarily 100% intentional. Ideally, he wouldn't have gotten hit and wouldn't feel the need to get knocked down, but for where he was at in the fight, it was easiest for him to get back on track by getting knocked down.
And Zallard has ended up in the exact same situation, actually.
Zallard looks like he's... Oh,
Yep, gonna go ahead and take the knockdown. Probably the smart play. Basically, from here on out, all these fights are going to be incredibly difficult. Especially with just how much more optimized the blindfolded strats are. They're doing things that are much more risky than when you saw Sinister do this run 2 years ago.
Got it.
Nice.
Blindfolded. Blindfolded bull charge counter, not an easy thing. We
No.
shattered it out the last time around, so very nice
Yep.
to get it there.
Yep. Crowd's not wrong for wanting to clap, but
Indeed.
yep. So Zallard's going to take his second knockdown here. So Zallard is going to have to clutch out. Oh no, that was his third.
Ooh.
I did not notice the
I
second.
didn't catch the second one
No,
either.
I was watching Sinister deal with the bull charge. So
Fortunately, at this fight, it's just a straight rematch.
yeah.
So there's
Some of the fights, if you lose, you actually get sent back a fighter or more, depending on where you are in the run. So obviously Zallard's going to be a good ways behind now, but it's not unrecoverable, especially with the fighters left to come for Sinister.
Okay. Moving focus back to Sinister here, we got Dawn 2 coming up. Dawn 2 is all about counter punches, but he's very, very heavily scripted in round 1. So a lot of this is almost more muscle memory than anything on Sinister's side. And... problem...
I think Sinister's just going to take a knockdown.
Take the knockdown.
Just, the big thing about blindfolded is once you lose track of where you are once, especially in these later fights, it can be almost impossible to get back. Sinister's just going to reset.
Yep. Take the intentional restart.
Yep.
So no 14-0 today, but a 14-1 is still alive and well.
Yep.
And still very, very, very impressive.
Yes.
We get to see Spanish Adam Sandler dance around a little bit more.
All right, we'll see if Sinister can start the fight off his intended way this time. Get back on track.
All right.
Zallard with the knockdown on the bull charge. Very nice.
Excellent.
Still has one more to go, but he's getting there. So Dawn 2 in the Vision run is one of the most random in the entire game because you can either save or lose a bunch of time based on how many random stars you get out of him. And amongst a lot of other factors that he can throw at you. So they try to minimize the randomness with their buffer strats and stuff, but again, this is still a very difficult fight. Looks like Zallard's going to go to round 2 on Bull this time.
Okay.
I believe that's knockdown 2 for Sinister.
That might be one.
That might actually be one, yeah. So there's a good chance Sinister's going to have to go to round 2 with Dawn. Well, not a good chance. He is going to round 2.
Pretty much guaranteed at this point. He might just take the KO again, actually. Because in round 2... Oh, nope,
Gonna
back
roll
on
with
his
it.
feet.
In fairness, Sinister might not know how close he is to round 2 either at that
There's
point.
that.
Zallard going to have to deal with bull charge again. Got it. That was a really, really long delay, too. It's hard to not get antsy, so very nicely done.
And the thing with Don, too, is he goes into this defender phase, and there's really nothing you can do to knock him out of it, except just throw punches at his face and hope he retaliates.
Yep. And the other big problem there is that he's wasting a lot of your hearts, so it's very easy to get into fatigued mode like Sinister is now, so he just has to wait it out. And again, that's another big factor. Blindfolded is oftentimes you don't know you're in fatigue mode if you're off your script, because you just go to throw a punch and nothing happens.
Right.
So a quick reaction is required. Looks like Zallard's finally going to get bull down.
I believe that was number 3.
There
Yes.
it is.
Okay.
So
So good job to Zallard. And with Sin in round 2 on Don 2 here, he actually has a very good chance to make up a significant chunk of time even with the 1 kill.
yeah, there is a very strong chance Sinister could get pushed to round 3. It's going to depend entirely on what Don does defending, and right now, again, Sinister a little bit off track, has to wait for a jab.
Yep. Don has gone into his aggressive pattern now, which he's a little harder to predict than he is in round 1.
So Sinister's going to round 3 no matter what here. So Zallard has a real chance to get back into this if he can have a really strong Don 2.
And it looks like he's off to a flying start here.
Gets the buffer strat to dodge the jab. There's a stall.
Yep.
Okay, Zallard looking, we could make this a very close race very quickly depending on how these rounds go. This is one of those great examples of just how much knowledge these guys have to do this run, because in a normal punch-out run, you wouldn't ever care or know what Don does past round 1, because you just wouldn't be there. You'd reset. Just Zallard on knockdown 2 already at 137, so if he can finish off this phase 3, Zallard could take the lead here.
Using the alternating strat to get extra damage in. So the more punches you can get in during this defense phase of Don 2, the better.
Yep. Don not cooperating. Zallard's really close to ending this.
And
Zallard's going to take the lead, and then don't know if Don will stay down on this for Sinister or not.
We're probably looking for one more knockdown, but he was able to get himself a star.
Yeah, so Sinister has a chance to end this here.
And
there it
got to
is.
do it. All right. And so we're pretty close to even coming into Sandman. Now, Sandman has the distinction of being pretty much the one of 2 fights where you can do absolutely everything right in round 1 and still end up in round 2.
Yep.
It's because basically there is no reliable buffer strat for the Dreamland Express, the string of triple uppercuts. That happens to do with the way it has a unique way that the event counter for it is happening. Basically, every punch in the game has like an unseen counter going on in the background for when it's going to come out. And usually it's just that counter goes to 0 and then the move comes out. For the Dreamland Express, it has 2 separate counters. One for his little wait build up before he goes into the animation, and then one for the delay before the attack actually starts. And with those 2 factors, they have yet to come up with a reliable buffer strat to deal with it.
Yep. Normally, ideally, what they would want to do is set up having Little Mac get knocked down, because Dreamland Express is the fastest way to put damage on Sandman, but again, with the unreliability of doing it blindfolded, you won't see them employ that strat here, at least not on purpose.
Yep, any knockdowns you see are strictly unintentional. Hopefully we don't get it. Everything out of
Dreamland Express, we'll see if Zallard can. Very
He's
nice.
through.
Very nice.
So now, and dodging the Dreamland Express is huge because you can put a lot of damage on Sandman after getting past that.
And after this, he's in a phase where straight buffer strats allow you to finish the job.
Yep.
So Zallard has a chance for a round 1 knockdown, but it's going to depend on what random refill comes up and how well he can deal with this final phase.
Yeah, it's not a guarantee at this point, but I would call it a solid chance here.
He got a solid refill, so
And
looking decent.
Sinister's also in there with a chance, definitely.
Sinister wants to see Sandman get up on 3. 8 would be a good chance of the bad refill. So.
And it looks like he's getting the 8 count.
Yeah, so this could be just a case where both players have done this fight exceptionally, but bad luck may cause Sinister to be forced into round 2 here. And if he's forced to go to round 2, Zallard's going to have a commanding lead, but there's this guy waiting at the end of the whole thing who might have a thing or two to say about it.
And it's going to be close.
It's going to be very close. Almost. Very
Nice.
Very nice.
Very nice.
I know. I want to clap too.
Yep.
We feel your pain. We're almost there, guys.
All right, so now we have Mr. Flexpex.
Yep.
All right.
So Macho is a technical fight
Very-
without the blindfold. This is the one I don't actually know a lot about the buffer strats that have been found for Macho. To be
The actual
honest.
buffers themselves, it's mostly just to get the stars, is what you're looking at here. Macho also has a weird mechanic where after he takes 2 star punches, he's coded not to start dodging them just every time. The only way to reset that is to build up to 3 stars. So being able to get these star punches at every available opportunity is very important.
Very nice. Zallard with only 1 extra dodge on the spin punch. Zallard with a strong second knockdown there, so looking good. Sinister got, unfortunately, a bit of guard there, so he's going to have to catch back up. Very nice.
And that's
And
it.
Zallard's got it.
Zallard is through.
So Zallard going to be moving on to the big man himself.
All right.
Oh, Sinister got dodged on the star punch, which made his buffer to dodge spin punch really tight windowed. Unfortunately, did not get it there.
Okay, now Sinister with the 9 count strat there.
Yep.
Highly risky, but that gets him back to full health, which the refills are also affected by how much health that you have. So getting up on the 9 count ensures you get a full health bar out of the deal, which keeps the refills where you want them, or at least where you expect them to be.
And the big thing that's interesting about this race is obviously both runners are blindfolded, but that means they can't actually adjust their strats by looking to see how far ahead or behind they are. So in general, you're going to see them probably employing fairly risky strats because they just don't know.
All right, so now we're here on Tyson. Now, the thing with Tyson, the big wall for this blindfolded was his first minute and 30 where he throws his uppercuts. And a buffer strat was developed by Jack Wedge to basically minimize the risk here. It's not 100%. You still might take 1 at the tail end. There's a very small chance that he'll throw an uppercut right at 130. And they'll be in a blocking animation, so he won't actually go down. Now on Sinister's side here, the reason for the reset was there was a soft lock in place. Basically a case of the 1 spin punch. If he's hit at just the wrong time during that animation, basically the crowd in the background stops moving, and it's just the fight ends and you don't advance. So we had the reset and the password entered because, well, he beat the fight.
Yeah.
So.
And you're seeing Zallard in the more difficult part of round 1 with Tyson blindfolded is you have to duck to get these buffers to get these punches off, and it's really, really difficult to make those hits count.
Okay.
So Zallard's going to go to round 2.
He had himself a pretty solid round 1. Now round 2 is where it really counts, though. You absolutely positively really want to get him down in round 2, because in round 3 he goes insane. In round 2 you can control his behavior to a certain degree.
Yep.
So at the start here he's going to be blocking and counterattacking to get a bunch of star punches here.
Got Tyson at pretty low health already, so Zallard is in good shape to start this round, but long ways to go.
The big thing with this one is the stamina, because he goes into a very predictable counterattack when you run out of stamina. So it's dodge, get him down. Now, depending on his refill here, it's either these 3 star punches will be enough a very small percent of the time. They got the large refill. The large refill is the most common. Okay, Sinister also in pretty good shape here out of round 1. Run out the stamina, dodge,
Very nice.
counterattack.
Okay, so Zallard is 1 knockdown away from his job. Again, just to remind everyone, please wait and hold the applause till after both runners have finished. So Zallard has a very good chance to end this in round 2 if he can finish off these strats.
Yep.
This is all very scripted at this point.
Yep, he got the blinking pattern at a minute 30, and with that there's a lot of damage you can put down on
Almost
Tyson.
it. It's almost over.
Yep, it's almost there. And
Zallard's done
Zallard
it.
is our winner. You don't know how bad I want to clap and jump down
Yeah,
at the
no,
screen
this is
right
not
now.
fair at all.
But hopefully Sinister doesn't keep us waiting too long, because he's coming in on his second knockdown here.
With the look of relief on his face. Nicely done, sir. Nicely done.
Congrats. All All right, it doesn't look like Sinister's going to be able to take advantage of the blinking pattern. Yeah, he skipped through it.
Yep.
At the same time, with the amount of health Tyson has, ooh,
That stings. He could still round 2, but the likelihood has gone down immensely now. Luckily, Sinister got a solid refill, so Tyson should be fairly low, but this is going to be close if he can get it done in round 2.
Actually, the nice thing about getting knocked down in Tyson is they have an immediate buffer for a star afterwards.
Exactly.
So it's easy to get right back in the game. I'm pretty sure Sinister might have sat on that one if he knew where the health bar was at, but hey, blindfolded, so.
Unfortunately, Tyson got a very strong refill, so this is going to be a tough round 2 here. I'm not actually sure if there's enough time anymore.
Well, there's another blinking pattern which he just skipped over, unfortunately, so it's going to be really tight. Got the star. Put him down.
There we go. Give it up!
Yeah!
Fantastic work, gentlemen.
They deserved every bit of that. Every bit of that. That was amazing.
Yeah. They make it look easy, and it's not at all.
To say the least.
And that was incredibly close. Incredibly close. So. All right, one more time. Give these guys a round of applause. Let's go.
Yep.
Oh, that was absolutely fantastic. Holy cow. Well, thank you very much for doing this run. By the way, we had some winner's choice donations come in. Zallard will be choosing to put those donations towards something. Zallard's a little busy right now. I'll let him do his thing. Cool. $50 from Anonymous says, loves the show, and I'm always so much impressed by the skills displayed during the event. Keep it up. We have Westill, $5.99 with $75. He says, love the slate of games this year. Always love finding new speedrunners throughout the week. We have a lot of donations that we're giving, wishing luck to different runners.